Independent councillor from the City of Sydney. She's here also representing Clover Moore, the Lord Mayor, and of course Clover's also the local state member. So Di, thanks.
Thank you, David, and for the crowd that I see, I need not introduce Clover in any other sense than she has been your member for so long and has been so committed to Moore Park and its retention as public lands that you know full well where she stands.
Yes!
And I'm very proud to be here representing her, and she does first of all send her utmost apologies. She's in Canberra at the moment attending a family funeral, and because this was organised at very late notice, you will appreciate that she would love to be here, but I'm here in her stead, and I have a message to read to you from her. So on Monday, I might add that her Lord Mayoral Minute condemned the transfer that was notified to us very luckily on Monday morning. It gave us time to respond and make this issue quite well known across the City of Sydney. That particular position was unanimously supported by Council. There was not a voice of dissension in Council on this very important issue. On Wednesday she spoke to the Premier and spoke in Parliament on Thursday again, calling for the government to stop any transfer and to increase the funding to the Centennial Park and Moore Park Trust to reduce its reliance on revenue generation from car parking and commercial events. And she's asked me to read this following message. So just imagine I'm Clover, and these are her words. This month, Macquarie Street celebrates Governor Lachlan Macquarie's significant legacy for Sydney with the Macquarie Visions light installations. Yet again, behind closed doors, Cabinet is considering a betrayal of one of his most valuable gifts, the Sydney Common, gifted to Sydney residents for future generations. A leaked letter to the Premier from the Chair of the Centennial Park and Moore Park Trust revealed that the government could hand control of Moore Park to the Sydney Cricket and Sports Ground Trust. These parklands are more valuable than ever for residents in this increasingly populated surrounding suburbs, where most people have limited or at times no private open space. Only 1/3 of Governor Macquarie's 405 hectare bequest remains open public land, with land lost already to commercial and retail development, sporting stadia, a busway and a road. The latest threat follows the 2006 rezoning of public land for commercial and residential development at the request of the Sydney Cricket Ground that resulted in commercial offices and a proposal for new rugby league headquarters. Media comments make it clear that the Sydney Cricket Ground wants Moore Park for car parking, and I fear that events parking will go further onto grasslands, and parking could even be made permanent. The Sydney Cricket Ground promotes major commercial sporting events, services private members and provides for professional sports training and provides car parking to members and patrons. A sporting authority cannot provide the same protection to Moore Park as a public lands trust, whose role it is to manage and maintain open and accessible parklands. Increasing parking is not a solution to the unacceptable and unsustainable gridlock before and after events at Sydney Cricket Ground. What happened to the $4.5 million that was set aside for alternatives to on-grass parking to compensate for the loss of parklands to the Eastern Distributor? A light rail link between Central and the sporting stadia that provides efficient, reliable and affordable service is urgently needed. Sydney Cricket Ground patrons are not stuck in congested traffic for hours. In fact, it takes them 20 minutes to leave the area on light rail. It can be done, and it should be done here. I urge all of you to write to the Premier to oppose any transfer of land away from the Centennial Park and Moore Park Trust. And I think if I can just add one further comment to Clover's message there, and that is that whilst this area may well have been Australia's first zoo, I think now is the time for us to ensure that it doesn't now turn into a circus.